Hi, Yami. Welcome to Galattaplus.
Thank you, sir.
And really looking forward to chatting with you. But I have to share something with you before that. So I was just looking up something fun about you on the internet. Ki kuch milega? Can I find something other than the acting questions? And I found uh, this article that was for a beetroot facial.
Okay.
So it said, विंटर्स में पाना चाहती हैं यामी गौतम जैसे गुलाबी गाल तो घर में ही तैयार कीजिए ये फेशियल.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
Wow.
so I was like, of all the people, they chose you for the Gulabi Gal.
The gulabi
I'm
gal.
like, I mean, that's kind of this one, right? I was like, and then I looked at the picture and is this really Yami telling us that is the world about her recipe for a beetroot facial? But then I decided, no, that doesn't look like it. So,
I can't be beetroot facial, not bad. I
yeah.
will. Can you just share that article with
Yeah,
me?
I'll share that article with your PR or whatever because it was like I
Oh.
was like, does this look like Yami? No, it doesn't. But I don't know what.
Oh,
But
so they had another picture, but the name.
yeah, so
That's
your picture was right next to this person with this face covered with that. So I
okay.
was like, is this Yami before and after? And so that's clearly not you
Wow.
apparently. So
No.
that's
That's
so
interesting.
so Yami, you're apart from the beetroot facial, you're also an actor, and this is
Apart
like.
from beetroot facialist, yes.
Yes, yes. No, but seriously speaking, congratulations on over 10 years now in the Hindi film industry and a little more if you count your earlier films
Yeah,
in Kannada. You did a Punjabi film as
I
well
did.
and all that. So when somebody looks back on a journey, which is like, we always like to do like somehow the 10th birthday or the 20th birthday or the 30th or the 50th seems to mean something which kind of the middle ones don't. So when you look back at, let's say, 10 years, what are the, does it feel
Thoughts.
like a blur or is there a,
I don't know, fortunately or unfortunately, I have an elephant's memory. So there are a lot of things that I do remember.
do
And it,
share?
it shocks my friends that how? How do you remember you gave that pencil to me on that particular day when I forgot my geometry box? That crazy my memories. I may forget where did I keep my phone just now, but I think memories are pretty strong. So and until people pointed out it's been 10 years in the industry, I didn't see it like that. It happens also to be one of the most exciting phases in my career. I think even more so than I enjoyed the success of my first film, I don't think I really enjoyed the success bit because I didn't know what it meant. I think I was more stressed about, okay, everyone's telling me you have to sign the second film. वो कैसे करते हैं, वो क्या करना है. So I think I wish I knew how to enjoy things more back then. That's how I look back. But I also, like to compliment myself a little bit that there are some basic values and things which I really held on to really very close to me, which kind of helped me sustain and survive this long
Okay.
and to still have a perspective intact and sanity.
Can you
So
explain that perspective bit?
I think that perspective bit that never feel shy to say a no if you don't want to do something
Like a movie or
like a
something?
movie. And it's fine, even if it could be someone with whom you've worked a lot, a director with whom you worked, or a producer. But if you're not feeling it, if you're not feeling the script or the story, that's all right.
Right.
So I think the middle years that you're talking about, I was looking for a script. Now I'm looking for a great
Great.
script.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the difference, I
Yeah,
think,
yeah.
in both the phases.
And you've managed one of the the tougher things in the film industry, which is that you managed to come to a place where you say, now if there's a strong female role or an intelligent female role, then let's call Yami Gautam. Was that a planned kind of thing, or again, did it just happen because of how you presented yourself, the way you said no to certain things, all of that?
I think it's an amalgamation of a lot of things. There are times when you want some things in your life, you see yourself in certain roles, you watch that, I wish I'd gotten that role or done that bit. But you're not ready yet. You're not there yet. Directors don't have that confidence in you. You have that faith in you that you can. you feel that, Arey, I started with such a substantial role right in my first film. So why would producers and directors not, give me those opportunities? So you have to choose the best amongst whatever you have. But that thought process never left me. And even though it didn't reflect in some choices of films, but that's all right. I stand by them because they gave me work. As I said, I needed a script back then, I needed work. But I think that thought stayed with me. And when I got that opportunity, in suppose, say, a Bala or an Uri, 2019, I think, was a very important year for
Yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah.
That gave me a platform once again to kind of, open different avenues and then only go for roles which resonate with me.
Right. I would say maybe that cemented that platform rather than gave you a
Yes,
platform.
that cemented that
Yeah,
platform.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
that gave me a very strong
Yeah.
voice on an expression in a very unsaid way that this
Right.
is what I'm here to do. I'm not. I was called out, sometimes for कि अच्छा इनका तो cameo है या छोटा role है. Kabila, I think that's another film that I'm so glad that I got to be a part of that film. But some people thought audience loved it, and now when journalists interact with me, they're like, "You were so good in that film," but I said, "No, that's not what you wrote back then." But I feel this is one of the few times that I think when we should look at the West, that वहाँ पे बड़े से बड़े actors, they don't shy away from doing roles or working with directors if they want to. They
Yeah.
don't care. They just come and do something amazing and leave. यहाँ पे we make it such a big deal.
Right.
So for me, even though I knew these two films, especially Uri and Bala, again, Uri is going to be mostly about the operation. But here's a director who's now my husband, but back then who's ready to take that punt on me that, I want to present her in a way that in a long, long time we haven't seen her.
Yeah, yeah.
So I took that. And Bala, I think, all thanks to, again, Amar. There are a lot of people, again, who were like, we told Amar that इतनी सीरियस है आप इसको ऐसा कॉमेडी कैसे करेंगी
Or even Dasvi.
or even Dasvi
Yeah.
or even a Thursday. I mean, I'm saying these things are kind of, these films followed after that.
Right.
But I'm saying those two films, that's why remain very important. And of course, a Thursday and Dasvi were altogether a
Yeah,
very
yeah,
different
yeah.
streak. So I waited. I waited. I did, some decisions didn't reflect, as I said, my thought process, but that effort was there constantly on my part to look for those roles and to look for those directors who are willing to take that leap of faith that, let's just give her this.
The people who grow up within the industry, they, because they're surrounded by sets and this and that and all that, acting is probably a very natural choice for them because they just say, okay, dad's done this, mom's done this, whatever, whatever, whatever. But when somebody's coming from outside, what is it that made you say, listen, I can do this. This is something that I want to do, and I can do this. I mean, there must have been something that gave you that faith. What was that?
It was just in the gut. It was just an instinct. I didn't grow up thinking or hoping or desiring to be center of attention
Like,
anywhere.
it's not like 3 years old you saw some Sridevi movie and said, I want to be that.
I did grow up watching Sri Ma'am's films and Madhuri Ma'am's films and Smita Ji's films, and I loved them. But I was a very closet actor or a dancer. I used to love imitating or impersonating my teachers or whoever I met. Not to make fun, but I used to
hear
just...
you're a very good mimic.
I heard that too somewhere. So that's something which I enjoyed, and only my best friends knew about it. Nobody else. For everybody else, I was just a little very quiet, reserved girl, good in studies, not good in extracurricular activities. I remember in 10th standard, my teacher was like, "Ab to ek Hindi competition mein part le lo, Yamini." She used to call me Yamini. She couldn't get my name for 10 years, and I was Yamini for her. And I did. But I reached the podium, and I'd prepared it so well. But I just froze looking at so many people, and the fact that I could see them and they were all looking at me, I was just not comfortable with that. And I made, of course, a mess, and obviously I didn't win anything. I just won hearts, that also just my friends, I guess. And that's it. So, but in my heart, I always knew that that's something
You could.
I want to do. But I was really preparing for civil services. I took up law, and I was pursuing honors in law, and I was good. But then this opportunity came by, and I gave a screen test, and they loved it. And then I sat with my parents.
That was
and
the Kannada film.
No, that was a TV serial.
Okay.
It ran for only 2 months. It's the big that show has that production house has given some really popular shows. This has to be the most unpopular, most unsuccessful show. But it made me really happy for some reason to watch myself on screen, and I really enjoyed that process.
Nice.
Anything between that action and cut, I was very comfortable. Everything outside of it, I was again back to, okay, reading something, watching, or just sitting and just listening and not talking at all. Like, I just couldn't. It took me a really long time to really get this place.
Yeah. This was a few months ago. You just spoke about A Thursday. Uh, so there was this press release that this Yami Gautam starrer Earth Thursday was the most watched Hindi film. And Ajay Devgan's Rudra, The Edge of Darkness was the most watched Hindi show as per a report by IMAX. And that's like a pretty like a big thing, right? I mean the comparison and and what it is. What I'm saying is after this, did designers come to you finally and say, please wear my dresses? Because I read this piece where you said that nobody's coming to me and giving me their like costumes to wear.
Again, one of those beetroot facial stories. Something else was said and it was just blown out of
Twisted?
proportion,
Okay.
really twisted. That incident had happened long back on a particular occasion, and that's about it. And because that's what happens.
Right.
Even some of the biggest designers, they want only certain names to wear the labels so that they get the best of traction, or for whatever reasons. That was once upon a time. Again, it was twisted and became like, I'm like, I didn't say that. And I don't want to make everything about there's only negativity, there's only,
Yeah.
problem. हाँ, सब जगह, हर industry में problem है. It's just that we have a mic in front of us and we're able to, that's the nature of our job. I mean,
Yeah, and you're able to talk about it.
and if we can make this place better for the future generations or the next set of actors who are going to come, why not? I think they are really protected. The kind of conversations we're having today, it's only going to make it hopefully a more secure environment for them than how we felt in certain ways. I'm saying in terms of the creativity, especially, and how casting is done. So I think this is just one little derivative of that.
The frivolous nature of the question apart, there is actually a serious
Yeah.
part of that as well, which is I don't think anybody doubts that Yami Gautam is a good actor because that has been proved through your roles, right? But there is also this other part of being in the industry, which is I think we could call it stardom. And that comes with a certain things like this. It's like, who's giving you dresses to wear or
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe which parties you're invited to or whatever it is. Does that play with you sometimes that like I know you're getting really good scripts, you're getting really good opportunities. You have something called Lost coming up, which premiered at IFI in Goa, and we've been hearing really good things about it. I can't wait to see it. I think it's coming out in February or something.
thank you.
So, but does that other part, which is not to say that you're not a star, what I'm trying to say is that stardom is a kind of like a construct that is a little difficult to explain. How do you see that?
That's a very valid and a very interesting observation, because this is one thing that I've been constantly told, and that everyone knows, and this is quote unquote, and that you're a really good actor, and especially now with the streak of films that you have back to back, which have already released this year, they've done so well and everything, and yet I feel there's this one thing. I think a little more, if you can make yourself present yourself that you are that star with that little, then the casting will open up, the kind of roles that are coming your way will be even more better. I have an answer to it. Of course, I have my own theory to it,
Yeah.
which it took me a long time to come to a consensus that yes, this is me. This is a part that I need to work on. This is something which I need to retain myself. Which is that in this whole new age of social media and your paparazzi, and you know it, sir. You're a veteran here. That
Oh God.
the kind of
Veteran, I hate that word. It makes me sound like I was born in 1870.
no,
This is
no.
like
Okay, in your perspective,
yeah.
in your understanding of
Yeah.
things, and ideas, it's become so complicated in today's time that you have your media perception. You can pay reviews also, and you can buy reviews. You can have people write nice things about you. You can have paid trends, or sometimes they're just out there, or you have so many things in today's time which goes and then that takes money. That takes I'm not saying that that's your money, you can spend it however you want, to each his own. And I don't judge anyone,
Yeah.
any of my contemporaries, anyone, because it works for them.
Right.
So it works for them, great. But you have to take every actor for what they are. If I'm casted in a film that, oh, I understand a producer would want a certain saleable name, that, we want a certain name so that we can recover a certain X number of money. But then this year has seen it smashing it all. People like me have been trying to say that
Yeah.
it's nothing to do with the names.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's your story.
It's such a vindication.
It's your characters.
Yeah.
It's how you have. It's the story and the execution, nothing else.
Yeah.
Audience को नहीं फर्क पड़ता है उससे. आप उनको एक अच्छी कहानी देंगे, अच्छी फिल्म देखेंगे, वो देखेंगे. और इस साल more than ever has seen it smashing all those
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
So more than anyone, it's to the producers and writers that it's been proved that it's nothing. These things are just so temporary. Maybe it can work for certain kind of actors, but because maybe they do certain kind of films.
Yeah.
But the kind of cinema that I'm resonating with, which is an amalgamation of substantial, but does it mean that it has to be boring, or does it mean it doesn't have to reach the audience? Not at all.
Yeah.
Audience should be happy.
Yeah.
आप जो भी genre देखें, एटलीस्ट मैं उन फिल्म्स के साथ एसोसिएट करना चाहती हूँ, या वो फिल्म्स करना चाहती हूँ जो उनको मजा आए देख के. कोई भी जॉनर हो, पर कुछ अलग हो. There should be something different.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I have read, this is not to make a statement or something, but I have read about 15-20 scripts till now since I signed my last film. I completed shooting my last film, I think, in July. So ever since, so I've been only reading, not signed anything. I have 4 more releases, not signed anything, because I'm not finding anything of that caliber. And not just for me, but even for the audience. So the work is actually with the writers and the directors and the producer. All the other things will come and go.
Yeah.
They can be just look nice, glitzy and glossy for some time. But if you're trying to leave a legacy here, it's your films.
Yeah.
It's your work.
Absolutely.
And today, more than ever, is the time where you have to be yourself. If you're not being yourself, if you're cribbing that bahar se aap wo sab karo, par andar se, I'm not liking it, and I have to go there, I have to be there, I have to do that, I have to, how much traction did this get? Or, oh my God, the other actor is getting, is being read, is being written about so much. Then what's the point of working hard in the work? So let me work harder there. And the other side, it's okay. So if someone is casting me today, they have to cast me for the ability and what I get what I bring to the script, to the character. If I'm being casted for any other reason, then I'm not the correct casting for that film.
Right, but how do you keep the noise out? Because you said if you care about what this other person is getting this or other person is written about, I mean, you are a human being, and like nobody wants to be like, I don't know, left out is the word, but like that kind of noise comes in. How do you filter it out?
I won't deny there have been times where you felt unwelcomed, where you felt not a part of this, where you felt. For that, you don't need anyone to tell you. Just that one look is enough. That you know it. You can read it. That you're not there yet. But then I think my family.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's a very emotional thing for me, because they've been just emotional, not because of the journey, but because I feel very blessed to have the family that I have.
Yeah.
I think if they were not there, then it would have been difficult. So just, once more phone call to my mom, or my sister, and now I have Aditya.
Yeah.
So, and we both share the same value system.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
If I am not so social, oh my God, he's not so social to another level. But so I think it said, now whatever you're seeking out there, you um, you get it, and for me, that's Aditya.
And it's so funny that I was, while waiting for this, I was having a chat with him, this super reclusive director, and he told me something very similar, that it took him such a long time to make his first film, and now he's working on a more complicated project, and it's taking him a long time for that as well, but he's willing to wait for that
Yeah.
for that to happen the right way. And I think that really is a fantastic way to go about it, rather than trying to notch up, hits, or I mean, just trying to do the right thing is, I think, is a kind of a thing. I just wanted to realize one thing, that none of this means that I do not think you're a star. I think you're a total star. It's just that I wanted to get the perspective
No, and that's a very valid question, I'm saying. And the most important thing is you acknowledge it, which is, by you, I mean myself. I get it. And for me, success is when you achieve it being who you are.
Yeah.
As I said, if you are building a life where it looks really nice on the outside, and it's a hard life for everyone,
Right.
not just for people like myself, but for someone like myself. And I would not like to quote it in nepotism on outsider. I'm saying, even if, okay, you've come from outside, but you ease into it, you make relations, you make friends, you network, with. I'm still not comfortable doing it, and there's nothing wrong if you're comfortable. That's just my personality.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would have a conversation with someone if I want to, or because I want to, not because I have to. And we've done that. I've done all of that, and I know it'll never work for me, because it doesn't. Like Aditya and I, we keep discussing, that there are two kinds of people. एक जो खाते अच्छा और एक जो सोते अच्छा है. हम सोते बहुत
चैन की
अच्छा
नींद.
है. चैन की नींद. खाते भी अच्छा है. खाना पसंद है. बट अगर आपने इतनी सी लाइफ में, अगर ये अगर मेंटल पीस नहीं मिला, तो फिर क्या फायदा?
Definitely. Yeah.
Money, all these things will come and go, but if you couldn't, and what message are you leaving to people, or to youngsters who are looking up and even watching these interviews?
Yeah.
I think today, even if you look again in the West, everyone is as real as they can
can.
be, because लोग समझते हैं. इमोशन गिन चुन के वही होता है, हंसना, रोना, गुस्सा, and all they're very basic. So, and that is what comes, I think, on screen.
Yeah.
The way you can't cheat people on screen, you'll get to know. One is ki you can make all the noise, oh wow, what a film and what a performance. But you know your truth from inside, and it's very important for someone like me to have a very balanced. Yeah, sometimes things can be frustrating. It can be like, you may feel ki, acha, I deserve this, I deserve that. But when you see yourself from the outside, from the industry perspective, sometimes you feel you're a dot in that entire system. You're not, but in your head, you're the biggest superhero that has ever
Yeah.
existed.
Yeah.
But you're just a dot in the system. So, but that dot is moving,
Is moving, yeah.
is getting there.
And now that dot is a big circle or whatever it is, because like I'm telling you, you're a star because whenever somebody says a Yami Gautam film, there's a certain expectation that goes with it, or that whenever somebody says that Yami Gautam is in a project, there's a certain expectation of what she's going to be doing, and I think that's the big.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I wanted.
Yeah.
That expectation I may not be able to live up to every time, but at least it's there. That if
Right.
it's Yami's film, let's give it a try. Let's
Yeah.
see. Kuch hoga.
Yeah.
And slowly and steadily, yeah, the idea is to just be there, to be aware. I don't think that awareness was there, was somewhere. The intent was correct, but I think to be aware as an actor what you really want to do here, and are you aware of yourself, even your performance. Sometimes you feel कि बहुत अच्छी performance है, बहुत अच्छा काम किया है उसमें, but I think you should be open to if someone feels the other way, or sometimes you may feel that, I thought I emoted really well, but when I'm watching, it's not, come through the way I thought. So, but the point is, your intention needs to be correct.
correct.
Which is, for me, it is the audience should enjoy the film, and I, as an actor, should feel that I'm I'm getting nurtured every day by every film that I'm doing.
Right.
That's the only way to go about. That's the way to stay young. That's it, nothing else.
What kind of actor are you? Are you the kind of actor who takes the part home, or do you just switch off after pack up and you're able to relax and do R&R and listen to music and read a book or whatever it is? Are you what kind of actor are you?
I like to switch off.
Okay.
And now more so, for sure. I think it's switching off is different when you're shooting out of station, because you're coming to a hotel, so you may be still carrying on that energy, or even you've had a long day. And I have my own way of unwinding, which is music or watching something nice and eating something nice. But here, of course, I know, of course, when my family was there with me, it's a very different energy. You actually get really absorbed in this
Yeah.
whole family world. But now, of course, I have Aditya, who'll be, no matter how busy he worked up, day he's had, but he'll be waiting for me, and we'll be sitting over dinner. And if there is a scene which I want to really discuss with him, and I feel that, that's what I did, and good, bad, whatever, but that's what I did, that's how I felt, then we may, have just like a
Little shop talk.
little, yeah, that's it. But otherwise, okay, kal kya khana hai, kal kya hai, how's your day going to be, I like to unwind. I don't like to take it back home.
So when do you prepare for a because I know actors that finish the day shooting and then they spend a little bit of the evening preparing for the next day's whatever it is. What's that process like for you?
Ideally, I'd like to do that, but at least in the past year, because there were about 6 films that had to be shot, which had a
Yeah,
film
you were like
which,
there was one announcement after another.
yeah,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
had a Thursday and a Dasmi and Dhoom Dham, Oh My God, and Chor Nikal Ke Bhaga. Booth Police was already done. Especially for a Thursday, I think the prep, I wish I could prep and just then jump on the set, but I had to take I had to prepare, and then just on the 5th day I had to come on Dasmi and start preparing for that. Even though my character didn't have that Haryanvi lingo, but still, because she was an educated officer, but still to get that finishing and the details and to work on each and every line. So I had to take a little break from a Thursday, go to Dasmi, finish Dasmi, and then land straight on a Thursday set. But I think what I really enjoy and what really works for me as an actor, that whole reading process. When I read a script, I'm very thorough with it. I'm thorough with it to an extent that you ask me anything about any other character also, I should know that. I should be that comfortable. And whatever I feel, I write it. I make these small little notes so that I remember that this is what I felt while reading.
Right.
And I take a little time, because each and every scene or each and every line, I sit here somewhere and there's a tree outside, and I just look out and I just imagine the scene playing in front of my eyes. That's how I prefer it. I imagine saying the lines as the character. So for me, that process is a very strong homework, that even if a situation like this happens where I'm not able to jump right in the film, I can lean back on my process, because that's very important. I like to leave a lot on imagination, and bases my observation on maybe that's a good thing about when you talk less with you observe more. And that's what goes. So something peculiar, if you picked up or observed an accent or something, some idea, you just never know.
Now you spoke a lot about how you choose a project and all that. Let's take Lost, right? Yes, it's by the director of Pink, and therefore there's an automatic interest in what that is about. But what is it that's something that you look for in a film? Yes, you've said that the audience should like it. You should have a good role in it. But beyond that, is there something that a project should have for it to appeal to you?
I don't know how to put it together, but you can see in the writing, you can feel the intent, you can feel if there's any pretension, anything which is pretentious about the script. Sometimes it could be the strongest subject and, everything strong, that one synonym, that word we've learnt. But you feel that it's forced, it's not feeling right. It's not feeling organic, or it's not feeling, it's trying to say something but trying too hard. And that you can see it right there in the writing, just like how you can see it in performances. You can see it in the writing first, and that's where I think that's for me, that doesn't work. And it needs to, it a good script will all have everything in, everything, all the answers, even while preparing. Of course, you have 20,000 things and sources in today's time at the click of a button. But if it's a good script, it's there. You can literally read the writer director's mind there talking to you, and you can feel it. So it's very difficult to put it in words, but if I've if I can, then, and that safety thing, which a lot of times it happens. Yeah, it's a very safe structure in writing कि पहले ये होगा, फिर कुछ tragedy होगा, फिर ऐसे होगा, then you have to, come out victorious and all those things. And now there's a social message also. So all those things. I mean, I'm only pointing out what doesn't work, and what works, I think it's just, as I said, it's just in your instinct. Yeah,
Yeah.
this works.
I think you explained it very well, because you're saying that you can read the director's intent,
Yeah.
which is maybe another way of saying that there is a consistent vision throughout.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because if you see my filmography, I've mostly worked with either first time filmmakers or second time filmmakers, and all of them, most of them have been really brilliant. Even like, for example, Thursday, Bezar, I had not watched his first film. I was aware of his first film, and I purposely didn't watch because it was a very different tone, or a world from what I read in a Thursday, and I wanted to stick to a Thursday.
Right.
And I could see in the writing that I know he's someone who's absolutely, who'll execute it just the way whatever I can read. And of course, there are always changes. We're always improvising and working, and all those things. But that basic seed, which is so important for me to connect with my director, and I never give my feedback, like even for a Thursday or this, I never give my feedback, oh, I liked it. I give it, but first I ask if I really like something, that, I just want to have a conversation with you, that, what made you write it, or like it, or why do you want to make it, or how do you see this film? And then I express what I feel. So I think that conversation kind of gives me that confidence that it's not about what you've done in the past. That's a very easy way, to judge someone. But it's always there in the eyes. It's always there in your words. The entire film almost you can see. And unless now he goes so horribly bad, which till now it's not happened with any of them, then that's beyond me. But you can get it.
Yeah. If there's a director that came up to you and said that they would write any role that you wanted, is there a dream Yami Gautam role?
Why do I get stumped on this question every time? Because there's so many things.
Yeah.
I would love to do a period film. I would love to play a warrior princess. And then I love comedy also. I'd love to do more funny roles. I don't
Yeah.
think there are many comedy roles, not the slapstick one.
No, but just to interrupt, I'm sorry for doing this, but when I saw Vicky Donna, one of the first things that struck me was there was such a nice streak of comedy running through that character. Like that you express so well, and somehow that never. I mean, it's there. It's been there in a few films, but somehow you get drifted into that other zone.
You are out of, I don't know, whoever watched it, you're the second person in my life who's told me this. That's it. There's no third person. And that first person is also not Aditya. Somebody else. That, there was a streak of, actually, we've never discussed Vicky Dona, that reminds me. But, yeah, because again, very few people or directors, at least I think back then, even 10 years is not that long time, but
Yeah.
still it feels, you know, now that I'm talking about Vicky Donor, they didn't see that. They just saw overall, कि, you know, you played a little mature character than your age. तो आप ना ये थोड़ा serious role, intense roles, तो उसके लिए ठीक है. So which is why these two directors, Aditya Dar and Amar, will always remain very special to me. And of course, with the Thursday and Dasmi went to another level. But who saw it, you know, before, or maybe just reminded people that yeah, it's just in your writing. You write such characters and you'll get actors. You'll get it there. So I think I'd love to do more comedy. Dhoom Dham, you may find that streak again.
Yeah.
It's too early to talk about that film, but again, not something which I've seen myself do before, and so I'd love to do more comedy. There's so many biopic characters which, you know, they run through my mind, which I'll
Tell me one.
explore one by one.
Tell me one biopic.
One or two will be very controversial. If
Okay,
I
so
say.
tell me a non-controversial one.
I'll tell you the non-controversial and the most beautiful one would be, I think, Madhu Balaji.
Okay.
I think I know there's some films been announced, but it's nothing to do with those announcements. I have always said this in my makeup room that's because I used to watch her songs
Yeah.
at night. So at night, I have this habit till date of watching either some old songs or some old interviews. It could be from Madhu Balaji's to Smita ji's interviews, and my God, how well spoken they were.
Yeah.
I wish again one of those actors who were still alive. There was so much more that was left to be seen, and I wish she was here today.
Yeah.
Because she's one of my most favorite actors. Of course, Sri Devi ma'am. So biopic, period drama, comedy, and when I watched Gone Girl, I just
You wanted to be that.
I'm saying that's so interesting. Exactly because of this. You don't expect me because of, you know, maybe, not maybe, I am a good girl.
No, I think it's also it's also because of the casting. It
The
does play a
casting.
play. It does plays an image, you know.
You
So
know,
suddenly,
exactly. And now I don't want to have any such image. I mean, if a Thursday people thought it had a little bit of grey, but of course the end was completely
Yeah.
different. But yeah, I don't want that image. I don't want any image. You know, it's best if you're just like water. You can just, you know, be casted or just be put anywhere. So many Meryl Streep's films. You know, I was watching The Usual Suspects, you know, or I forgot that Kevin Spacey film where he says, I'm an alien. How can I forget? He says, I'm an alien.
okay.
And throughout the film, they've played that, you know, he's an alien. I mean, he's come from another planet. What was that film? Anyways, I'm saying there's so many. I mean, of course, he's a male actor, but I'm saying there's so many roles which are still undefined at what genre it is.
Yeah.
But I love it when someone casts me in an unexpected
K-Pax, I think.
K-Pax.
Yeah. Okay. Just running through my mind.
You know,
Yeah,
or
okay.
The Usual Suspects.
Yeah,
I thought,
yeah.
what again a phenomenal actor, Irfan Sirs. I know I'm just naming actors just to give you an idea the kind of films that, you know, they've done.
Right.
And that's something I think I've given more than the answer was
Yeah.
required.
No, but that's great because it's always nice when to hear somebody being so articulate about so many things, including how they choose films, what their position in the industry is, and so many other things. Except that you are not admitting to the fact that you were the person in that beetroot facial. That's,
Yeah, there was so much beetroot that's how you couldn't recognize me. That's the whole idea. I think I know how to put that question. Except for zombie films as a genre, that's one genre which I don't, because I don't enjoy watching. I would love to do anything and everything. That's how I can't define. So my team was asking the other day, okay, now what is it that you want to do? I said, I don't know. But I'll know it when I find that script. So I don't have anything in my mind कि अब मुझे ये करना है, अब मुझे वो करना है. अच्छी script, अच्छा role, a good director, and a good team, because I think I read some comments sometimes what audience also makes, and they're commenting on things like cinematography, production, editing, background. See, these are the people who actually make the film, or that scene which I'm saying that sometimes, you feel you've given it all out, but it's not feeling it.
Yeah.
These are the guys who, give you in a very uh, spoken way, and yet they're all over there in that frame. So yeah, a good team.
So just to play devil's advocate, this last question. So you said everything except a zombie film, right?
Except a zombie film.
But what if you'd said, okay, that's a genre that I really hate, but I'm just going to conquer my whatever fear or dislike or whatever it is and jump in there just to kind of put myself through that Agni Pariksha or whatever it is.
It has to be a really good script.
See, there you go.
And another genre because that takes me to a conversation with Aditya. Love stories.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of love stories.
Wow.
I am not a big fan. For some reason, I don't like them.
Right.
But I'd love to do a beautiful love story or these rom-com dramas, and I'll do a really good job.
Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah.
But from inside, I'm not a big fan. But just not to prove anything, but I know I can do it. But there are two genres which are not my
But
first loves.
that makes me really curious because that's one of the most popular genres, like love stories. What don't you like about them?
I don't know. I don't know. I just find it too. Or maybe whatever I've watched of late, like very, you know what's gonna happen, or maybe the way it leads to. Okay, one of my favorite love stories is actually Wall-E.
Yeah.
There is such a beautiful.
Yeah.
Aditya reminded me of it actually, of the film we were watching it again. I had watched it and so did he, and we discussed. Both of us said that isn't it actually such a beautiful love story?
Nice, especially the first 10 minutes or so.
It's
Yeah.
it's such a beautiful film. So I'm a little on the side where when everything is too goody good or too predictable, or the way, as I said, when there's a certain pattern which you can predict as an audience, I don't know. There's
I think Gone Girl
nothing.
would be a love story.
Gone Girl.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You can actually manipulate people, love them, do everything, and still have a great script and all that kind of stuff. So
because I don't I wouldn't do something just because you're expected to do, or this is something which people want to watch. No, you don't know what people want to watch.
yeah, you don't. Yeah.
Look at the films. I watched one of my most favorite films this year. I'm sorry, this is not a part of the question, but one of my most favorite films this year has been Kantara.
Yeah.
I loved that film. Also because maybe I'm from Himachal, I'm aware of that belief and I respect it. And I think the way Rishabh Shetty, he performed that scene, it has to, the level of observation and the way he actually got in the skin of the character, you
Yeah,
can't fake that.
It is goosebumps. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's almost like, I also believe that certain roles, that blessing just happens. So it was the blessing also in the end because you earned it. You did it with so much sincerity. There's a certain discipline, I believe, that you have to follow even if you have to perform that kind of role. So you don't know what people want to watch. They want to watch good films. They want to watch films which, because now the world is open to them. It's there in their homes. There's
Yeah.
nothing that they've not seen.
Yeah.
So it's a challenge for us, and we must take it up with all full guns blazing. And I'm all up for it.
So good luck with your challenges. And as a veteran journalist, I must say that.
And as a beetroot facialist,
So, I really enjoyed this conversation. Thank you very much.
thank you so much. So did I. Thank you for doing this.